discover more and more. You'll be like, oh, okay, if you write UPSC, I can go that for that also. If you write GATE, I can go that also. And if you write GATE, you can also go for abroad. Like, I mean, Singapore and some states, like, I mean, some countries like Singapore and all of them, they do take you with a GATE score itself. So GATE has so much to explore. UPSC has so much to explore. So it all just depends upon your interest. So like I already said, your interest, just make sure you're interested in it once you decide to get into it, because on the way, if you lose interest, you won't be able to proceed further and you'll be lost again. So make sure you're interested, or you just know what you're doing. You just know the process. Like, just don't directly blindly just jump into it. Just if you think you're going to take UPSC, just sit with it. Just spend a day or two. Just know what is happening with the exam. Know what is happening around you, like related to the exam. Know just what is the procedure, what is the post you'll get, what will happen after you write the exam, so what is the syllabus of the exam. All this, just do a self study. Just make a note of it, or just do a research about it. So only if you start looking more into it, you'll know what you like and you'll know what you not like. If you feel UPSC is not for me, just then okay, go with GATE. Even if you think GATE is not for you, then okay, you have TNPSC. Then even if you think it's not for me, okay, fine, you'll have so many opportunities coming right at you. But just make sure you're interested in whatever you're choosing. Don't just blindly follow everything what somebody says, or what was your best friend does, or whatever somebody just does it, or whatever they have succeeded already. It doesn't depend upon them. It doesn't depend upon your best friend, right? So your individual perspective, you must have an individual perspective. Like, you must be thinking, okay, if I can do this, okay, I can do this. It's not because she can do this, you can do this. It must be like, okay, I will do this and I can do this. Okay. So make sure whatever you do, you just interested in it, very like you're confident and interested with it. So eligibility for TNPC is this, it varies because the group 1 has a different age limit, group 2 has a different age limit, but aggregated it starts at 18 or 21 years to 30, 32, 42 years. For example, group 3's age limit is 42, and then it starts at 21 years and 42 years. And it just depends upon the exams, and then depends upon the post, to be really precise. Okay, so whatever post you choose, I already said, make sure you match the eligibility criteria. And also the number of attempts, it also varies for groups. Some people, they just have, like, some groups have just 5 attempts. Some groups say you can write how much ever time you want, be it any, you're from any caste, doesn't matter, be it whatever caste you are. Some exams, like group 3 exams and all, says you can write how much ever time you want, but group 1 exam says no, you can just write only 6 times. So it depends upon the group, whatever group you choose. So whatever group you choose, you make sure you look at the age limit, number of atoms, and what exactly syllabus is, and then go into it. And then, as already said, educational qualification, you must be a graduate from any recognized university. And then nationality, of course, Indian. And then make sure you're more Tamil fluent, because this is more of TNPSC, right? So you must be more Tamil fluent for whatever you're attempting in TNPSC. And frequency, it doesn't happen every year like UPSC does. What happens here is, whenever there's a vacancy opened, or for a specific post, or for a specific place, let's say, for example, if there's a vacancy in Chennai, and then they'll conduct an exam. So it doesn't happen very often, or I'll not say it doesn't happen, very rare too. It's just not like UPSC, which happens every year. This just opens whenever you have vacancies. So relying on TNP and TNPC, I would say, just don't just rely blindly on TNPSC, because your job vacancies are subject to change. So whatever you do, aim for the sky, you will reach a treetop, right? So you prepare for UPSC, that will itself help you to clear your TNPSC. And for proper notifications and regarding the exams, like the number of vacancies, exam dates, and all that, just keep an eye on the official website. I've given it here. So, like I already said in the beginning, ஒரு கல்ல ரெண்டு மாங்கா, like UPSC and TNPSC group 1. So group 2, group 3, group 4, they have a different set of scenarios, as already discussed. But group 1 is what you call the immediate, like the toppest, highest of state cadres. So here UPSC and TNPSC, they have a common, like they have so much in common, and they differ so much also. Since I already said UPSC is nationwide while TNPSC is just statewide, and UPSC syllabus only focuses on India and international affairs, while TNPSC is based on Indian issues, but it gives a more importance to Tamil Nadu topics. Like for example, if UPSC is talking about India and its geography, like India's geography throughout, our TNPSC will focus on Tamil Nadu's geography. Of course, it will just highlight India's geography, like Ganga is in that state. It's originating from that state. But it will ask you more about TNPSC. From where does Ganga flow into TN, like Tamil Nadu? So they'll give you more importance to Tamil Nadu kind of topics, and that's the only place where TNPSC and UPSC syllabus will differ. Most of it, UPSC and TNPSC syllabus will be 70% same. The rest 30% will be focused on Tamil Nadu. So for that Tamil Nadu, you can just take a Tamil daily. You can just study like just give a skim read or something through a Tamil daily, or you can watch the Tamil news channels you have, and that itself is a preparation for your TNPSC. So both exams are considered lucrative job exams in the government sectors. No matter what, like be it UPSC or TNPSC, both are like one of the topmost exams in the respective cadres, right? So, for example, if I'm writing TNPC Group 1, I'll be posted as a sub collector, or I'll be posted as a DRO. So, district revenue officer. So, on further promotion, let's say 3 or 4 years later, I'll be in conferred IAS. So, there are two types of IAS, like direct IAS and conferred IAS. Conferred IAS is the one that comes through promotions, like who write Group 1 and then become an IAS, right? So even if you miss a chance at UPSC, but you still want to become an IAS desperately, you can try Group 1 and then become a conferred IAS, right? So it doesn't matter. So whatever you lose or whatever you gain, it all depends upon how much your hard work you put in, right? So whenever you select something, be it UPSC or TNPSC, you just make sure you consider these factors like the job profile, the posts, like I already spoke about the group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4 posts. You have already those posts. Just make sure you consider those posts and apply for your exams respectively, and make sure you look at the salary package. If you think that is enough, okay, go for that. If you think no, I need more, go for some, like go for group 1 or group for UPSC, because already discussed, all the higher level cadres will have, obviously will have more salary, more pay than your group 2, group 3, group 4 levels, right? So if you think you need more, if you're not sufficient, you think, I need to earn more, then you can go for group 1 UPSC. If you think, no, I'm content with whatever, I just want a government job, I'm content with whatever I have, you can just choose group 2 or group 3 and you can just go forward, right? So it doesn't always have to be about the money or the job profile or anything. Just consider these when you're like trying to apply for the respective exams, and then make sure you look at the job location, because randomly just don't go and apply for any exam. I'm not just talking about TNPSC or group 1 here. Like regarding job location, whatever exam you apply for or whatever recruitment process you apply for, make sure you look at the job location, because that is going to play a major role in whatever future you have ahead. So make sure you look at the job location, be it TNPSC, UPSC, or whatever recruitment process you're going to do in further. Just make sure you look at the job location also, even if it's campus or off campus, whatever you want to do, whatever your interests are, just give a consideration to this job location, because that is going to play a major role in shaping your future. And the exam pattern, of course. So if you think group 1 is difficult, or like, I'm not saying it's difficult, but if you think, because everybody individual perception matters, right? So if you think it's difficult, maybe you can try for group 3, or maybe you can try for group 4, because on any given day, group 4 will also like reach group 1 cadres by for further promotions, right? So if I'm starting as a typist, for example, at now, after certain set of 15 or 20 years, I'll be one of the sub registers, or I'll be one of the deputy secretaries. So it doesn't really matter where you start or what exam you write. All that matters is your effort, hard work, and interest. Okay. And look at the selection process too. If you think, no, I don't want an interview process, okay, go for group 4. If you think, no, I'll be confident enough to answer whatever the interviewer asks, then okay, group 1, group UPSC is your stuff. So consider all these factors before you jump into a conclusion, and make sure you just think about every aspect, not just the positives and not just the negatives also. Make sure you think all the positive and the negative before considering whatever you're going to decide on. And as already said, why I'm saying India is much more better is because maybe let's say you earn around 2,000 or $3,000 per month there in abroad, which is approximately around 2.25 lakhs maybe. So when you can earn that, and when you can earn that there, going there and having a, when you think that is a better life here, let me say, in UPSC clear, like whoever a candidate who cleared UPSC or TNPSC Group 1 who cleared it, they too earn the same amount of money just by being in their own state, being in their own country. So you don't have to always need to like leave your country, leave your hometown and go somewhere and work for money, right? You can always be with your family, you can always be in your own place, and you can always have a luxurious life. So what I'm trying to say is, of course, going abroad is not a bad choice. Different people have different ideas. So if somebody is trying to force, or somebody is trying to put into your brain that abroad is the only greatest thing that's happening, that is a common cliche that's happening right now, right? So don't really get stuck in the idea of like only if you go abroad you'll be able to earn more, you'll be able to settle more. It's not that. It's never that scenario. You have so much opportunities right here, right in front of you, which just don't miss it. Even just it's not always bad to try it once, right? Okay, try it once, try it twice, try it thrice. Even after you fail, maybe then go try abroad. So you don't have to always have an opportunity in hand, leave it and go elsewhere and search it. So you make use of what you have in front of you. And if you, even if it's not reachable, if you think it's very far away, then maybe try some other options. Until and unless, just try whatever is here right in front of you, and make sure you clear that, you clear that and come out in flying colors. And it's never too late to set a goal and to focus on your dreams. As you already said, many people might have different ideas, many people might have different like options to do after your 4 years, or many people don't even know what to do. Many people might think, I don't even know what to do. Even now I'm in fourth year, I don't even know what to do. It doesn't matter. You're never too late to set a goal, and you're never too late to focus on your dreams. Even if it's today, even if it's tomorrow, just make sure you set a goal and travel towards it. Just don't be aimless in travel, because when you don't have a proper goal, you just don't know where you are going, and eventually you will be lost. So be it your gate or UPSC or TNPSC, or what the another speaker is going to say, be it anything, just make sure you fix it and you work towards it. And for further queries you have anything in future, like apart from after the Q&A on question session, and after that, if you think, even when you're sleeping in the night and suddenly you think of some question, or when you're showering tomorrow and something comes into your mind and you want to ask me anything, you can always contact me in this LinkedIn, and or you can always mail me. So for any questions, I'm open to questions. You can ask me
Okay.
anything you guys want to know.
Harini, are you able to hear me?
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes.
thank you for your wonderful session. So, before we turn on to your session's question answer, I think we can start the next speaker also. And both
Okay.
the question answer session together, we can answer together. So, I request also you to just sit back and listen to her session as well. That's a
Okay,
request.
ma'am. Sure,
Perfect.
sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Akshaya, are you able to hear me? Akshaya?
Yes, Colin. Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Okay. So, one second. I've just made you a presenter, so if at all you have
Okay.
anything to present, you can. So today we have our next speaker, S. Akshaya. So she is currently the IT associate at Baumel Lorry. So yes, Akshaya, I request you to please take over the session.
Yeah. Harini, can you stop sharing? Okay, I can share it, right? Harini? Yeah.
Yeah, I think she has stopped sharing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So, good evening to one and all, and I'm Akshaya. So, I'm here to speak on some of the things. By the way, I'll just give a small introduction about me. I'm working in as IT associate in Balmalori. It's one of a central government sector. And currently it's been like I guess it's about 6 months. I've just joined. And I'm here to give you some ideas on how to get government job easier. And there are many other ways, more than UPSC and TNPSC. There are many more ways you can get into the government sector. So let me elaborate on it. So first I'll be covering about railways, Indian railways, and the next is about, you're able to see my screen?
No, ma'am.
1 minute. Yeah, now it's fine, right? Now it's fine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to discuss about 3 things. No, first 2 things. The first is about Indian Railways, and the secondly about SSC exams, and third I'll tell you later. And third is about bank exams. Okay, it's not bad to get into bank exam after engineering. Many people do tell that, but it's an easier way to get into a government job if you have the tendency, like if you have an idea of getting into you want to get into some government sector. Bank is the best choice according to me. So first I'll talk about Indian Railways recruitment. There is one board known as Indian Recruitment Control Board. Here they will appoint the new employees to railways. So here basically this railways recruiter, Indian Railways is the biggest recruiter in India, and frankly speaking, this RRB exams are quite easier to crack, but heavy competition. If you set your goals properly, you can actually clear these exams easily, and you can also get very good scores if you start practicing from today. For engineers, there's one exam, JEE and SSC, and in railways, those 2 are the main exams. And if you're technically strong, you can go ahead with those. These exams will occur once a year. So these are some of the Indian RRBs. Before getting into it, a kind request to everyone, like whatever government job you're getting, don't think about the location, okay? Because wherever you go, it's better for you. We have many locations, RRB, like 21 RRBs are available. If you get into any one, you can have a very good future. So these are some of the posts available in Indian Railways, like Railway Junior Engineer Exam, Senior Section Engineer, Group D, Loco Pilot, Assistant Loco Pilot, NTPC. And as I told before, JEE and SSC has completely technical skills. If you see this Junior Engineer Exam and Section Engineer Exam, it is it is purely technical. You need to learn more. If you want to easily get into railways, the best choice is Loco Pilot and Assistant Loco Pilot and NTPC. These 3 exams are much more easier. Recently, NTPC exams have given the admit cards. You can just have a look into it. Yeah, so these are much more easier if you want to get into railways. This is selection process. This selection process applies for all the types of examinations. So this is a common selection process. First, you will have an online test. That online test consists of aptitude, quants, English. Then you have GK also in RRB. GK in some of the exams, in some of the exams you don't have GK. In some exams you have little bit of GK. GK comes when you're going to write your mains exam. So first you have your online test, then you have some skill test. Skill test, it depends on the roles. You have some roles being mentioned. The job description will be mentioned. Based on that, you will be having skill test. Then you have the interview process. Then as usual, document verification and medical fitness. This is the most common selection process that is taken by all types of examinations. It's common for all. So I've given the RRB Chennai website over here. You can go through this website because we have, they give instant updates over there. Day by day, they keep changing the updates. So please go through these websites. In railways, there's an opportunity. If you are final year, you can apply. For if you are completing your 10th or 12th also, there is also a choice. So according to eligibility criteria, you can also apply. 10th, 12th opportunity is also there. You can also try, keep trying. Then this is general syllabus, general ability, general awareness, as I told, reasoning, arithmetic, this general science. These all you have been learning so far. My humble request is at least you need to spend at least like 3 hours or 2 hours per day, so that you would increase your speed. Speed is more important for these competitive exams. So these are some preparation tips. First, what you do is when you registering an exam, go through the entire examination pattern, syllabus, everything. Then what you do is know the syllabus, then jot down the points what you're going to learn first, then see the exam pattern, and before getting into the learning into the syllabus, getting into the syllabus, start solving previous year's paper, like 2 or 3 papers. Take an instance before last year paper. These let's say you take 2 previous year's papers and solve it, and find out the answers. Like just check on with yourself. You will know where you stand. From there, you can start preparing for your examination. And further, while preparing, try to make short notes. Always maintain some books for that. Aptitude, you can have a separate book. And for English, you need to prepare, because we always be lethargic about English verbal section, because we know English, but that's not the thing. We need to work on, because speed is more important over here, more than we know everything. Okay, so and those notes which you are preparing, make use of it during revision. Like if every exam notification will be released like 3-4 months before the exam has been conducted. So in that 2-3 months, you can easily prepare very well. Basically speaking, instead of preparing, banging your head and doing hard work, working for 24 hours Monday to Saturday and all, you don't need to do that, because you need to do smart work over here. More than hard work, smart work plays a major role. After talking about bank exam, I'll come back to this. So this is about RRB. Okay, this is railways section. So this is actually an easy way to get into government sector. Next is bank exams. Bank exam, my personal experience, without knowing which is public, which is private, I kept on attending many exams. So first, before getting into bank exams, you need to know which is public, which is private. So these are the list of public sections. The reason why I prefer public, why I expect you all to prefer public sector, is because public sector is nationalized, whereas private sector is not. Nationalized bank will be much more a stable job for you, and you don't have any problem, and you don't have any stress or any sort of problems over here. But in private, you have many problems. Like anytime they can shift you anywhere. You have location problem. You do have some. There are many issues. Okay, so these are the list of nationalized bank. So make use of this list, and yeah, make use of this list. These are the list of private sector banks. Okay, so do make note of this. If you're in a situation where you want to get a job in bank, not specifically in public or anything else, you can try out these banks also. Then these are some of the other bank categories. You have foreign banks, namely Standard Chartered Bank, HSBC Bank, Citibank. In this is regional rural banks. This is the most easiest method. I mean, most easiest exam you can get into bank section. This is one of the most preferable exam I can prefer to you all. So RRB and public sector section. These two are most preferable. Payment banks have now been increasing, but not up to mark. But according to me, please refer to all these banks and rural banks. So these are some of the small financial banks. Small financial bank is not up to mark right now. So best you prefer RRBs and public sector banks. So first, how do you get information, right? So by I can speak blankly, like you can get information on these things. That how can you? The method which I followed personally is I went into each website. Say for example, State Bank of India. You have a website for State Bank of India. If you Google it, you will get the link. You get into career option and check what are the updates. Like that, you keep checking for each and every bank. And please make use of a note, a small diary where you keep a practice, like you keep a note on when what exam happens, when to apply, when is the deadline, when does it happen. So you just need to have a short jot down, you need to jot down on a small diary, which would be really useful for you, because from my personal experience, this, without jotting down these things in my diary, I keep forgetting things. So this is the best way. You get into each website over here and check what are the updates over there, updated career list, or the updated recruitment, the latest recruitment. You keep applying according to eligibility criteria. The most important thing in bank is whatever eligibility criteria, read line by line. Each thing you should be matched with you. Otherwise, your eligibility, your application will be cancelled. That will be cancelled when you have been expecting admit card to be coming. Now, at that time, if it gets cancelled, it will be an issue. So instead, please do check properly and apply for the examination. So my humble request is get into each website and check what all recruitment updates are there. Similarly, for RRBs, they keep giving up many opportunities over there. Recently, also we have in Tamil, in Gnana Bank, I guess it's a rural bank. It's a rural bank. There were about 400 vacancies being announced right now. Hope you guys have applied. And yeah, these in bank recruitment, we have like major 4 roles. First is PO exams, then bank clerks, bank IT officers, then specialized officers. So these are the major 4 roles being alternatively used in many exams. First, I'll talk about SBI exam, that is State Bank of India. In State Bank of India, you have we have like 3 exams over there. The most easiest exam is clerk exam. Clerk exam is junior associates for clerical cadre. It's prelims and mains. Both will be really easier. And the first is PO, probationary officer. Here they'll be taking you as a trainee, and then you will be turned into a management role. So here you have 3 rounds: preliminary, mains, and GD and interview. This mains will have 2 sections, that is objective test and descriptive test. Okay, these with my personal experience, I can say that SBI PO mains was much more easier when comparatively with preliminary. So preliminary, in whatever exam you going to write, your first round is the major, it's a major thing you're going to face, because that will be really difficult when compared to the rest of the other rounds. Other rounds are damn simple when compared to the first round. Similarly for SO specialist officer, that is having online exam, shortlisting, interview. So these are some of the exams. These 3 are under SBI exams. I have given the link over here. You get into this link, and if you see, you'll have the updates over there. You keep updating each and every nationalized bank. That's the main thing I can request you. Next is IBPS exams. IBPS exams is actually easier to clear. IBPS PO, SO, clerk, RRB. Under RRB, you have office scale 1, office scale 1 and 2, and office assistant. So, if when compared to other exam, this IBPS exam, you need utmost speed. The speed is most important. The questions will be very simple. The speed only matters. So you need to pick up your speed. That comes only by practicing only. Okay, so I have given the link over here. The same process for all banks. You have the same process, just like SBI exams. You have your preliminary, mains, then you have your interview and all. So everything has the same procedure, but the only thing in IBPS is you need to have more speed. Speed is most important over here. Then you have RBI exam. RBI exam, if you get, you're the best person in this world, because it's quite easier to, it's quite difficult to clear the exams. It's very challenging. The cutoff is like only single digit mark. Think about how the paper it will be when the cutoff is single digit. You have all these 3 exams. All these 3 exams are challenging. RBI is Reserve Bank of India. Then the other banks, you see IBPP is one of the exam, and NABARD is very easier to clear. If you have speed now, bank exam is the best method, is the best way to get into government sector. you need to practice daily. So bank exam, it all comes only by practice, and you need to speed up your everything, your reasoning skills, your thing, everything. So so coming to this, after this, I want to talk about how you speed up your maths and quants reasoning and all. You need to do smart work. Basically, you take up an exam. For example, let's say a NABARD exam itself. You take up this exam. You have the syllabus over there. For example, you have quants. You have profit loss sums over there in the syllabus. Usually you don't have any syllabus for bank exam because it's entire portions, it's the entire thing, apps completely. You need to be thorough, but you can browse and check what all is there. If you say for quants you have profit loss questions, you practice in intense. You need to practice profit loss at you need to for 1 week you need to at least practice 50 questions. Then only you know how speed you should increase your speed by practicing only. Reasoning, I guess many of you must have faced an issue in your classrooms when you are attending a reasoning question. You have those circle sitting questions where 7 people sit in a circle and you need to choose something, who's sitting next, who's sitting here and all. In those questions, you need to practice for 1 week. You need to have at least 100 or 50 questions to be practiced, because practice is a major thing for bank exams. So this is about bank exam. I have some of the updates. This is a link where you get all the updates. Updated list is there in this link. You can go through that. And last is other bank exam other than RRB. RRB, then you have bank exams, and as the other person told about TNPC, UPSC, you have something known as GATE exams. As she mentioned, GATE is most important one, because GATE it completely focuses on your technical skills. So getting practice to GATE is like you need to go for coaching is out of your wish, but according to me, coaching is not required. It depends on how you focus on what you take. Like you focus on GATE, take the syllabus, schedule yourself. Scheduling is the most important thing in whatever exam you need. You need to schedule yourself, schedule your day, and start to force yourself, push yourself, sit and study. And don't force yourself, I mean, don't stress yourself. Just push yourself and just go ahead. And next is NIE LIT. NIE LIT is one of the exam. It's the simplest exam, which I don't know whether you guys have heard about it. But NIE LIT, if you go and browse it, it's a very easier exam. Since you are from computer science department, it's the most easiest exam. You can face it easily. Actually, in that exam, you have aptitude, you have technical also. You have 2 papers, morning and evening, and in both the papers you have technical skills. In that technical, it is completely based on what you guys have learned during your graduation period. Everything, your stack, queue, whatever is you have learned, everything will be there in NIT, and it's the easiest level. If you know those things, you can easily clear it. The second point which I have written over here is surfing PSU websites. Here on till now, I have given many ideas on how to focus, how to get ideas and all. This PSU website is like if you Google in PSUs, like if you Google, for example, if you have bail and all, you can't get the instant messages by just Googling it and searching for PSU updates and all. Instead, you get into those PSU websites and check for recruitments. Okay, so if you get into that, you have apprentice opportunity, you have internship opportunity. Through that, you can get into government sector. That is one of the easiest way I can give you a suggestion if you are really intense in getting into government sector. So apprentice is a better choice for those who are getting into second. I mean, you can get into apprenticeship. Then internship is much more worthful, and through these apprentice and intern, you have contract job also available in government sectors. If you get into that, you can easily push yourself to be a permanent employee in the same sector. That is one of the choice. And to get updates on this, you need to be updated on each websites. For example, I can give as bail. You have many other PSUs. So ONGC, CPCL, like that many. So keep updating yourself on each section. So finally, I come to the end. So finally, if you wanted to get into a government job, the first thing is, the main thing you need to have is patience. If you are going to write your 2 or 3 exams and you're like you didn't get those exams, you shouldn't backward yourself. You need to start doing, you need to work on what you did. You need to know the fault which you have done before, and you shouldn't repeat it further. Like that, you need to keep improving. It may take even years, but you need to keep working on it. Please don't let it go. Patience is more important, more than preparing for exam. Patience is more important. And preparing exam, for preparation you need to have a scheduled way. For a day you need to push yourself, like, okay, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to sit for 1 hour and study this subject, I'm going to sit for another hour for studying this subject. You need to push yourself to study those. You need to have that intense in your mind, like, I need to get this job. 100% you will be able to get this job. So all the best to you all. Cheers. So thank you. If you have any doubts, you can contact this email ID. Colin?
Akshaya, yes. Thank you so much for your session. So, Harini, are you also there in the call?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there, ma'am.
Yes. So, students, Akshaya and Harini, both of them, I'm sure they gave you a wonderful, insights and knowledge about all the things that you can explore within India, within your reach, even while you're studying. So, I think we are opening the platform for question and answer. I know it's 8 minutes past 8 o'clock already, but if you guys can quickly cooperate and ask any your questions, specifying each of the speakers' name, I think we can quickly wrap up today's session. So yes, students, open for questions. Students, if there are no questions also, please let know so that we need not waste our time. So please ask any your questions.
Currently, it's advisable to study for GATE exam in any private institutions, or to choose just study our syllabus and practice on our college syllabus.
Okay, so that's a wonderful question. Actually, it depends upon your confidence with the subject, to be really honest. Actually, our college syllabus, whatever you say is the syllabus, is sufficient enough, but the authors you choose must be of standard authors. Okay, not the local authors. You must choose a standard author. You would have in the syllabus too, right? Like standard authors, foreign authors, and all that. Just take them, just study them properly. You'll definitely be able to do it with your self study itself. You don't have to definitely go for an institution. It's not mandated to join an institution also. You can do it by self study, but make sure you use a standard author's book, or better websites for that to do a self study.
So thank you.
Any other questions? Please, students, come forward and ask, or we should wrap.
Ma'am, will you suggest any books for RRB or bank exams?
Akshay, I think this question is for you.
Yeah, there are books like you all are from Panimala, right? You'll be provided with you in the first year you'll be provided with a book, right? Remember?
Yes.
With 4 books, I guess. I don't remember the author actually. You'll have those 4 books, right? Those are the standard books actually for preparing for RRBs and whatever exams it is.
I'm sorry for interrupting. It's actually R.S. Agarwal, right?
Yeah, R.S. Agarwal. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those books are the most important books for preparing these sort of exams. That's more than enough. And you have your previous papers to be referred. You can Google it up and get it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Students, any other questions, please? Any other questions? Or shall we wrap for the day? Okay, I think maybe, yeah. First of all, thank you, Harini, and thank you, Akshaya, for accommodating this session today. And I'm sure both of you gave a very, very, very elaborate informations about everything that's available, with regards to their gate, PSUs, or their railway boards, and etc. So I'm
Ma'am,
sure
sorry
that.
for interrupting.
Please.
Ma'am,
Yes, please go on.
what about TANCET exams?
Yeah, TANCET. Hello.
See, actually, TANCET is the like how I said UPSC and TNPSC. GATE is all India, and TANCET is for your universities like colleges in Tamil Nadu, right? Even with GATE score, you can apply for Tamil Nadu universities. That will be equal to your TANCET score. So if you are writing GATE, if you are doing very well in GATE, you don't even need to write TANCET. Even with GATE score, you can go into Tamil Nadu universities, be it Anna University or any university in Tamil Nadu. That will be equal to TANCET.
Thank you.
Akshay, you have anything to say about TANCET?
No. She has done. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yes. So I'm sure Harini has shared her LinkedIn ID already, and I will also share Akshaya's LinkedIn ID tomorrow. So any other further doubts you would want to get it clarified directly from them, you can always do that. And tomorrow would be a final session. We will have 2 alumni from, your own CSC department from your computer science stream. So stay tuned for tomorrow. And I once again request you all to join on time. And thank you for your cooperation extended. And thank you so much once again, Harini and Akshay, for your wonderful support. And I'm sure you would always be there to support our students.
Sure,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
Thank you
much.
so much, ma'am.
Yeah, sure, Carlin. All the best, guys.
Yes, all the best. And thank you so much for your patience too, people. Thank you, ma'am.
And we can definitely pull in these people for any other future sessions as well, because both of them are phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.